Here's a funeral cash plan that guarantees you free coverage in the future. Throughout your career, you have made contributions to a funeral plan. Eventually, you retire and cannot afford the premiums, and your policy expires. Are you heading in that direction? Let Diaspora Insurance take care of you. When you take out a Diaspora funeral cash plan, you'll never have to worry about this again. Your future coverage is guaranteed. You can get a free quick quote right now and start the journey to free coverage in the future when you cannot afford your premiums. Your peace of mind is only a WhatsApp message away. +44 770 3838 304 or +27 659 070 419. Get in touch now. 24/7 quote and apply at diasporainsurance.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora funeral cash plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Hey, good evening, good afternoon. How are you, wherever you are? We're very excited to be here again. Yes, this is here again, Joy Zenz, the founder of Africa Women in Europe. And I'm very excited to be here, actually, because it has been some time. And last time we were here talking about health. We learned a lot about health and how to take care of ourselves as a black people here in Europe. I hope you've seen the winter has started, the snow has started, and your health tablets are on the height, especially the vitamin B, right? We learned a lot. And this time is another time thinking about our health, thinking about our future, the life that we live, and actually having an interesting discussion today. And I'm very, very honored because today I'm happy to have one of my guests I've been working for a long time, and you all will relate with this person. You've seen this person all over Europe. As soon as we got to know what he has goodies for us diasporans, we were very, very excited because it is about us diasporans. Nobody will think about us if we don't think about ourselves. Let's be honest. Back at home, there are a lot of issues there that they think about themselves, and we are part of their solution. And who is thinking about our solution? So today we'll be having an open discussion, really talking about everything, and a very, very good solution that has been going on. I have been joined by Dr. Sibert Mandega, and he's here as the Executive Director of Diaspora Insurance. Very, very well, a gentleman I always admire. He always comes with his ambience of insurance, right? Today I should have told him to come with a t-shirt. We want it very. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jay. How are you?
I don't ask guys who look seem serious with suits and all that to get serious.
I'm just wearing a jacket and no tie today, so I'm in a relaxed mode. So
that's the tie today is not there, gentlemen. I know you're
no tie today.
So welcome. I want to welcome everyone who's joining us, and I can see you on Facebook. We are on also on my own page. We also have African Women page. We are also on YouTube channel, and I want to welcome all of you on YouTube channel. Write your comments there. Let me know where you're listening us from. I can see some of you are throwing in comments there, saying hello, ladies. Yes, today we also have a gentleman. So today it's all about our health and hearing it in a perspective of a diaspora. Welcome everyone. Good to see you all as well. Again, it's another month. I've decided to really do it at this point. Every month we have to come here. Even Christmas, we will try our best in December to be here to celebrate with you as we talk about health. So today is a very important day, and we want to talk about a very, very important topic, but we want to hear more of what Sibert and the team have been doing, and especially him. So first of all, Sibert, who are you? Can you elaborate to my listeners who is Sibert? I know they have seen you all over Europe for some time. You've been traveling in Europe. I think we started this journey not sometimes now. Almost how many years?
2 years now, coming to 2 years.
Just after COVID, you're already on the move. We didn't wait for it, isn't it? So I was going to Switzerland, Germany, Holland. Now I see you even going everywhere, every other day. So who is Sibert? And I'm sure some of people have not met you. Now they would need to know who is Sibert.
Yeah, thank you, Joy, for inviting me to your forum. Very excited to be here. And I want to say good evening, afternoon, or good morning to our listeners and viewers across the globe. My name is Dr. Sibert Mandega. As Joy said, I'm the Executive Director of Diaspora Insurance. Diaspora Insurance is an insurance company that is based in United Kingdom, but we got global operations serving our African diasporas who live and work in different parts of the world. So that's me, and in brief, that's what we do. The rest we'll discuss.
I know, Sibert. You just make it so easy, very professional. I need you to really tell us. Sibert is actually a diaspora, right? You're just one of us, right?
Yeah,
so Sibert, really tell us your story, because you're a diaspora, and I know you're from Zimbabwe, and you have been here. And tell us, when did you come to Europe, and your story, because I always like asking people about their story, because whenever you land in Europe, I don't think it's what we thought when we were coming out from wherever we were coming. So I want to hear your story as well, when you came to I'm sure it was UK. I'm not so sure. You tell us that story, and especially that part that what was your shock when you came to Europe, and what were you expecting?
Yeah, my story is very interesting and exciting. Like many of us, I came into the United Kingdom. This is now, I think, this is now like 20 years ago. I've been living and working in the last 20 years now. So the idea was to look for opportunities, train, because I trained as a medical doctor in Zimbabwe, worked I think 2 years there, and left looking for better career opportunities, specialize and train. So I came to the United Kingdom, trained, worked as a medical doctor in various hospitals across the United Kingdom. So it has been a long journey, a lot of challenges, and when I came here, it's not what I expected. I mean, the work ethic here was different from what we're used to back home in Zimbabwe in terms of the demands, the workload, and but you learned fast and moved on, trained, acquired all the skills I wanted to. And then along the way, I came across Diaspora Insurance. So this is where everything got exciting. So the opportunity came, and then I really got excited about what Diaspora Insurance was all about, what they're offering, what they stood for. And I thought, wow, this is an exciting opportunity, both for me in terms of a career growth and also to reach out and help our African brothers and sisters by providing solutions to the many challenges that they're facing. Definitely, as a doctor, you make an impact looking after patients. You treat them, you operate on them, and they become well, they go home. But you're talking about just one particular patient you are dealing with. But if you join a company, I thought, well, if I join a company like Diaspora Insurance that is trying to solve a whole host of challenges that our African diasporas are facing, if I can bring my experience, my knowledge, because on top of training as a medical doctor, I also trained in business and finance. So I was quite eager to kind of like bring all that together in a role where I can provide a bigger impact to a wider audience. Because now Diaspora Insurance are offering our products to at least 13 African nationalities across many countries. So my role, I can see it being very impactful on a large number of people, more than I used to do when I was working in a hospital. So yeah, it has been, the transition also has not been very easy, because I'm trying to convince my wife to say, okay, I want to leave my medical practice. Everyone else was like, are you crazy? You leaving that secure job, going to work for an insurance company, and this is what you're going to be doing? I said, oh,
there's something she's saying you're not seeing, and women are very, very looking forward and everything. And before I get to more details, I want to get really more about Sibert. Who is Sibert in terms? I'm just imagining you arriving in UK. How was the weather? How was the food? How did you cope with UK? Especially the food in UK, is another story. How was it?
It says, it's just not when I came here, it was I think it was just coming off winter. So I arrived in April. I remember vividly. I think it was 11th of April. It was very cold morning, raining, very dull, and I was like, oh my God, what have I committed myself to? This is not the world I'm used to, because Africa is sunny.
So you came with the whole family, or you just came?
No, it was just me. It was just me at that moment. It was just me. And it was, so in fact, I was coming to join my wife, because she was already here in the United Kingdom. So I had to join her, and then coming here was exciting, but you could feel like, I think there's a lot of adjustments that I need to make and that I need to do, and a lot of things to learn.
Yeah, I mean, it's for all of us, really, because when you're lucky, then somebody had already given you and hit what to expect before you come, right?
Yeah.
Some of us just come here and land, and all of a sudden we are thrown with a situation where you have to cope with it, with the food. Only for you found a warm food from Zimbabwe already waiting for you on the table.
there was no food from Zimbabwe. I really had to
I think it's something
adapt
you adjust yourself to because there was somebody there. And it's always good to have a supportive system before you come because it's always, and that's what we encourage. That's why we have African women in Europe to have before you arrive, do your homework, see where you're going if you don't know anyone and things like that. So for you, that story for me, it's confirmation that it made your way in smoother, and it's important because we always talk about that, especially we are having a lot of people coming in expecting a lot, not even doing homework. They think like it's heaven. I don't know. It's always a very funny, and I can imagine you're coming out from the academic side.
It's all paved. It's all that the streets are paved with gold. That there's money everywhere. You find the euros and pounds lined up on the streets.
Yes. And I remember somebody saying that they even the grass. They didn't expect to find grass in Europe. Like, oh, even on the TV, I mean, it's amazing. So in your career and also with what you're doing with your with the Diaspora Insurance cash cover and working with them for some time. And also before even going there, you've had a lot of challenges of the diaspora. So in your view, what are these challenges you hear a lot that you hear from the diaspora? Because it's always good to mention them because some people think they're the only ones being affected. So what are these challenges?
Well, that's a very interesting question there. So that I think from my experience, what I've seen and also experienced myself, that there's so many challenges that we face coming from Africa, particularly, and coming to the what we call the so-called first world countries. So the first thing is that cultural shock that you experience, because there's a chasm in terms of the cultures in the African culture and the culture in Europe. So in Africa, we are used to have this communal approach to how we live, how we relate to people. You've got brothers, sisters, cousins, and the whole community really. So you tend, even when you're living in the streets, you tend to you know the entire street, you know the entire neighborhood. Like if you live in a town or in the village, you know almost everyone. But when you come here to Europe, even your neighbor, you may not even know your neighbor. Your next door neighbor, there's very little interaction. They may not even interested to know who you are, what you do, and even if you run into problems. So that creates a lot of challenges to us, people who come from Africa into the diaspora. And this is why you mentioned the reason why you also created our is for people to network and to create that network and that communal type of setup that we've always had. So that and also. So those cultural, so you have to come in, adjust to the culture, also learn the language. It's quite challenging. I know for me it was easier because in UK it's an English-speaking country, so we are our official language in Zimbabwe is English. So coming here, it's much easier. But I can understand for people like you, Kenya. I know you speak the official language is English, so I don't know how you coped.
Well, I don't know. I've lived in UK, but when I arrived there, I thought they were speaking English, but I don't know what it was. It was too fast.
That's the thing. So the language, the English that you learn at school is not the English that is spoken on the street. So you can't sometimes. So the first year, I struggled to hear what they were saying. The street English that they speak. So you really have to learn fast how they speak, how they communicate. So those adjustments are quite critical. The food itself, like I mentioned, was something else. Initially, the first year, the food was tasteless, especially the meat, the beef. Because back home, we do a lot of nyama choma, which we call barbecue or braai, and the meat is juicy. When I came here, it's like we are eating paper. It's like, what is this beef? What is this chicken? The chicken is also plain, down, nothing. You're like, okay, what am I eating here? So you really had to adapt. And so then through the networks, then they will tell you, okay, here are shops that sell African food. So you go there, you buy the chicken, the other African foods, just to flavor up things. So that's a good thing about the network. And also, I think the work ethic as well, like I said, here it's the work environment is very rigorous. You really have to put yourself in Africa. It's a bit relaxed. We work at our own pace, you know. But here in Europe, you really have to put a lot of effort to meet the expectations, the standards, and you know, so that adjustment had to change. That attitude had to change as well. Then other challenges that we see in the diaspora community is people leave work, and then most of us, like coming from a professional experience and what we see on a day-to-day basis, when it comes to end of life, this is when a lot of challenges affect our African brothers and sisters. Some of us, if anything, if it comes to end of life, they want to be taken back home for final resting place. But the biggest challenge is, where is the money? Where are the resources? The money is not there. It's quite expensive to take a body back home. Probably talking about 10,000 euros, 10,000 pounds, or 50,000 pounds if you're talking about shipping the whole family back home to attend the funeral. So that's why you see a lot of GoFundMe messages going around, people looking for money to be helped to take their family members back home for a final resting place. So that has created a lot of pain and trauma in the African diaspora. So that's the biggest challenge that we see people facing in the diaspora. So we've seen that so many pleas, people are asking for help, people borrowing money, and also so you'll find some very sad stories of bodies that lie in the mortuary for more than 6 months, a year. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I came across a story of someone from Swaziland, which is a small country within South Africa. I think that lady was living and working in the United Kingdom, but then she passed away, and then the body has been in the mortuary for the last 2 years. They can't send the body back home, so it's just been a sad story. So those are the challenges that some of us face in the diaspora. The other challenge that we face is existing two lives, one in the diaspora and also in Africa. So you got your relatives, you got that you want to please, so you end up working extra hard, and you also want to build that mansion back home, and also you got a life here in Europe or in the diaspora. So people work extra hard. They don't have rest. They don't have a life to enjoy, and they end up suffering. Now I'm talking as a medical doctor. Stress.
Yeah, that's where I want you to go, actually, because I want to hear that part, because it's the most important one as diasporans.
So they end up having a lot of stress, no rest, no sleep. You find that sometimes people, there are stories of, there's a very short story of someone who actually collapsed on the train on their way to a shift. They actually died on the train going to work. I think it was because of exhaustion, no rest. Probably this person has been working for like 7 days straight without any rest. This happened in London. So they're just sitting on the train, just died, just like that. So there are many stories of those people who work extra hard, no rest, no holiday, nothing, and then they just collapse. So we really need to rationalize things and make sure we look after ourselves. I know people back home, though, they think that we got all the money, but we need to learn to say, no, I can't do this. I can't afford it. I don't have the money. That's what we need to do, and to be realistic. Let us look after ourselves first, look after our families, our kids, before we start looking after people back home. It's good to help, but we need to know that we got limitations. Yeah.
I mean, and I wanted to start that, and I'm happy you mentioned, because the mental health, right, and the pressure that we get from home, the pressure we get from even here, because especially UK lifestyle, I've lived there, is very expensive, right? And you have to consider you have a family there, and you have to create also generation wealth with that as well. And the pressure is so much. We are finding a lot of people with mental health. Quite a lot of mental. You find people walking on the street, talking on their own, and really, some of us don't even seek for help. And I'm happy to mention that, because we have to let go what we cannot do. We are human beings, and we can only do so much. And those people back at home who are listening to us, and they should know that this is not something that should be. When someone says they cannot help, they cannot do, not because they are saying it for the family, because we are here to support our family members. But sometimes it's not possible because a no is never enough for some of the people back at home, right? You know that
Yeah.
you'll be pressured and pressured, and at the end of it, it looks like you're not helping. And we need to train all these people on both sides, because a lot of patients, you had some people fall down, collapse. I have had so many people collapsing at work, at places, without just because of exhausted. You're exhausted,
Yeah.
24/7, working every day. So and you mentioned very clearly about the diaspora, the way they are building homes at home and here. I want to know, in your own thinking and the way do you think diaspora, and I put also my people listening there, I can see we have quite a lot of people listening there. Thank you for joining. Stuttgart, let me recognize you. Alea Chege, welcome. Thank you so much. I can see someone has already even Diaspora Insurance. I have Diaspora Insurance. Well done, Chege. Go for it. More people in who don't know about this. Hello, everyone watching from France. Welcome, and we offer congratulations to everyone. Also from Germany. I know how one of our members, my dear Kai, how are you? Long time. Greetings from Berlin. Hi, Liz. Yes, let's bring all the people from Berlin, and we need to get to share as much. Share with people so that they get to know what we are dealing with here. It's because we are here to talk about, and I always bring you information that is going to help you. You know it already, but we need to preach it even more harder. And another question I wanted to throw in there is that and also the listeners who are coming, can you pin for me there who are listening? Where do you want to get old? Where I do want to get old here in Europe, or you want to retire early and go to Africa? And the people who are listening, please pin right for me on the chat, because I want to Sibert answer this according to his research. He's worked with the diaspora a lot, and I have my members who tell me, no, me African, no, never. That's someone that's going like, no, I want to retire early and go back home. And because we have to have that discussion, because that's where the discussion will start. So if you are listening to me, I'm waiting to see your comment. Tell me, where do you like to retire, or to maybe rest in your old age? Put for me on the chat. And Sibert, tell me, according to the way you talk with people, what are you seeing the trend going?
I think that's a very, very interesting question there, which we can take the whole day discussing. So I think we may want to look at first generation diasporans or migrants. Those are the people probably with a higher probability of going back home when they retire. So I think most of us, when we came here, some of us were like, especially for me, was like, okay, I'll come here, train, do my training in my field, get my qualifications, go back home. But that has never been the case. I'm still here. So, and that happens with a lot of people that I've come across as well. I think it also depends on where you come from, in terms of the countries that you come from. Some of us who come from, like Zimbabwe, is very unstable. It's been unstable politically for the past 20 years or so. So that has pushed some of us to kind of like think like, okay, I'm gonna be here for a long time. But then for people who come from maybe some countries that are politically stable, I've seen a lot of people, especially from Ghana, who are making a lot of efforts to go back to Ghana. They establish themselves, their homes there and planning for retirement. So I think the experience is varied depending on where you come from. But most people, I think, for first generation migrants, some would want to go back to rest for retirement or back home. But I think the things that people need to be aware of, because that's going to be a huge step going back home, probably, because things have changed. You have changed as well. People need to realize that you're not the same person who left Kenya or Zimbabwe or whichever part of Africa you come from and to settle here. You're now a completely different person. So going back is going to be also a cultural shock to you. Mm-hmm. So it's something that people need to think about if they're thinking about going back home to retire. Who's going to be looking after you? Because when you go back home, there it's not gonna be straightforward. Most likely, some of us, maybe your kids are gonna be here in Europe or America, wherever you are. So you need to make sure that you got that social network to look after you in your old age back home. Because maybe your actual biological children, they won't go back with you, and you maybe may think of maybe my cousins. Obviously, your brothers and sisters are also old. They're almost the same age as you, or maybe some of them have died and so forth. So you may need to think about that social network. Are you going to fit in? Are you going to have that support? Especially when you're in an old age, now you got a lot of medical problems. Are you going to have the necessary medical facilities to look after yourself, look after you in your old age? The hospitals, social care, social services. Do you have that in place? So those are questions that we need to look at, and also the type of housing that you're going to be living in. There are stories of people, maybe you built a two-story building in Africa, but you now retire at 70. Are you going to go up the stairs to live in your nice bedroom with a suite bathroom? Maybe not. So it's not going to be suitable. So those are things that people need to think about before they think about, okay, I retire back home. So it's not an easy process. So people also need to, if you're thinking about going back home for retirement, you need to make sure you go back home regularly, and you know how the system works, so that you don't have that cultural shock when you go back. So, oh, maybe you left 10, 15 years ago or 20 years ago, and when you go back, everything is changed.
Yeah.
So you really need to make sure that you visit maybe yearly, after every 2 years, and make sure you put things in place for retirement. But I also see a lot of people doing, I think a lot of more and more of our African diasporas retiring here in Europe. Because what we have seen is like there have been waves of migrations that have happened. First of all, the Asians came into Europe in the 1940s, 50s. So we can see that generation, they are retiring, getting old, getting gray here in Europe. Then there was another wave as well of blacks from the Caribbeans and the Jamaicans and so forth who came, especially in the UK. We're seeing that they're also retiring and getting gray here. I think maybe when they came here, the story was the same. They thought they would come and work and go back either to India or Pakistan, whichever parts of the world they came from, or back to Jamaica. But we see a lot of them retiring and getting old here in Europe. So I'm sure that's going to be the same thing with us as Africans who came in the 80s, 90s, and in the 2000s. That when we're just gonna follow the same pattern. I think there's a lot of us are gonna retire here in
I disagree with me. I want to be home. What I want retire in my retirement is according to what you want. Right? You can, as long as you can afford your life.
Especially the home weather, the good food back home. I think it'll be good. It's good.
Putting up your I mean, can you imagine retiring in Europe? I'm sorry. It's boring. But anyway, that's my view. What is your view, my listeners? I can see you're all listening. Where do you want? Because these are very important, because this is what is going to lead us to the next discussion. Because where do you want to retire? I mean, in Europe, some of us, as you see me talking, I also have children. So they were born here. So I know I will have 50-50, at some point. Because I cannot just leave my family all the way. But what is your view, my listener? Do you think that's where I want to go when you get old, stay in Europe or go back home? What is your view? I need some answers there. That's too personal. I know, my dear Lillian. That's too personal. Just throw anything and we don't know who Lillian is. Some of you can. It's also always. And also, you don't have even to answer me. Also, put it in the back of your mind as well, because the discussion we're having today, it depends. That's also how you're gonna be at the end of your and Sibert is coming to that, because I want him to articulate it himself. But as we go towards this, and I'll put that comment there for some time. We had discussed with you for some time, and you said women play a big role in your organization. Could you explain? I was excited, first of all, because I thought women, but when you hear statistics telling you women are taking action in your company. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so in Diaspora Insurance, we are a company that celebrates diversity, both in terms of race, in terms of nationalities, and gender as well. So women in particular, they play a big role in Diaspora Insurance. So firstly, I can state that a lot of our clients are actually women. So I think statistically, maybe about 55% of our clients are women, which is quite interesting. So women are very close to us as a company. The women, they tend to be more focused and more caring, and they want to make sure that their families are secure, that their families are provided for, and that's why they tend to like to take things like insurance and make sure that their families are protected. Because women in nature, they are more caring than men. Men normally want to take chances. They'll be like, okay, we'll see it when it comes. But women, they are always calculative. They always take precautions and protect their families. So that's why you find that a lot of women tend to take products like the Diaspora Insurance. We cherish that, and this is also the reason why we work with a lot of women organizations across Europe, in the UK, in Europe. We work with AWE. I've been working with AWE for a very long time. I've been to a lot of your events, Joy, and it's been a very good experience to see you ladies, what you've been doing, empowering each other. We work with a lot of other women organizations that are run by women in Europe, in Germany as well, in France, in Belgium, in the UK, a lot of them. And also within the organization itself, we have got women in key roles in the accounting department. It's run by women. Then we go to our HR. We have women who play a very pivotal role, and then the sales team, customer service. We've got ladies who are excellent in terms of providing services, who are at the forefront of delivering excellent service to our clients. I think most of the people here on the platform who have taken the policy, most of them, I think, have been advised by ladies in our team to take the policy. So they play a very, very big role. And not to mention our spouses as well. As we work with the directors of Diaspora Insurance, we got our spouses as well behind our backs, supporting us, working with us as well behind the scenes. So they play a very important role. We want to acknowledge their contribution towards the success of Diaspora Insurance. So yeah, we see a lot of a very big role that women play.
And do you think the women, I'm just trying to get you to mention, probably more women associations are existing more than men, or could it be that that's also an issue, that we need more networks bringing men together? Because according to the research, as far as I remember, let me put it for Kenya, or we have a lot of men than women in Europe. So there is something we should return. But I'm not saying that women don't. Definitely women are always planning ahead, are always on top of the game, actually. And the thing is that we also would love to see you men joining and also be part of protecting yourself. But I know where you're talking about in the idea of a man and a woman, the way we both think, they're totally different. And it's very important too. Yeah, so I was just writing that comment there as well for everyone who's listening there. I can see, Lillian, you decided to stay with your kid. Okay, I'll come to visit you half of the time I'm here if I can still work in Switzerland. It is a member in Switzerland. Thank you for sharing with us and everybody else. So just as we're coming now back to the real things now, because we need to hear about the organization, because you've talked about, you mentioned a lot of the challenges which have happening with the diaspora, and one of them you have managed to create a solution. So can you maybe help us now, our listeners, to know exactly what is the diaspora insurance mean? What is the diaspora insurance cash cover mean? And how before you come to that, I'm going to take a very quick short break and try to also give a bit of people a bit of view what is coming and what Sibert is going to share with their clips that they've been sharing with us, that have been sharing with you for some time. It's good to have the person themselves here to share with you. And then we take it up from there. Just give us like 2 minutes and we'll be back. Don't go away. Throw your questions in there. Tell me if you're staying in Europe or you're going to Africa, coming with me or not. And also tell me where are the men? Why don't we have more men networks around? So keep throwing the comments there, and I'll be back in a few seconds as we get to know what is the diaspora insurance and what do they have for us.
Here's a funeral cash plan that guarantees you free coverage in the future. Throughout your career, you have made contributions to a funeral plan. Eventually, you retire and cannot afford the premiums, and your policy expires. Are you heading in that direction? Let Diaspora Insurance take care of you. When you take out a Diaspora funeral cash plan, you'll never have to worry about this again. Your future coverage is guaranteed. You can get a free quick quote right now and start the journey to free coverage in the future when you cannot afford your premiums. Your peace of mind is only a WhatsApp message away. +44 770 3838 304 or +27 659 070 419. Get in touch now. 24/7 quote and apply at diasporainsurance.com. Terms and conditions apply. Are you living in the diaspora without funeral insurance? What if your spouse or child dies? How are you going to fund the funeral? A GoFundMe fundraiser is the most painful way to say goodbye to someone you love. Do not rely on begging. Instead, contact Diaspora Insurance. Protect yourself and your family. Coverage is up to a maximum of $20,000 or pound or euro per life. Visit diasporainsurance.com.
Yes, you're back here now. For you now, the stage is yours. Let us know, what does diaspora insurance mean and how people can they take it? And hand over to you now.
So I don't know where to start. That's very broad. So first of all, maybe let's look at the challenges. I mentioned like one of the challenges that people in the diaspora face is bereavement. Losing someone in the diaspora poses a lot of stress and pain to a lot of people in the diaspora. It's either you're losing someone here in the diaspora or you're losing someone back home very close to you. It raises the same challenges. When you talk about repatriation, losing someone in the diaspora, maybe they want to take the body back home for final resting place, or you lose someone back home, you want to travel immediately to attend the funeral. So a lot of times people will find themselves in a situation where they don't have the money needed to meet the expenses for such a tragedy, because you require a lot of money, up to, like I mentioned, up to maybe upwards of 15,000 euros or 50,000 pounds. So people will struggle to find the money, or somewhere because they don't have enough savings, and as well as the fact that most insurance products that have been designed in the diaspora mainly save people who live locally, die locally, and get buried locally. So if you're talking about repatriation, they don't even understand about that. If you're talking about insuring your parents back home, they don't know anything about that. So you find that a lot of us will be left uninsured, even though they are insurance products, because they're not suitable for our people. And we're talking about retiring and moving back home at some stage. So that's going to create also another problem for people in the diaspora. When you go back, what is going to happen with the insurance? You take an insurance with the company in Germany, and when you go back to Kenya, what's going to happen to you? Are you going to be covered? No, they're not gonna. You're not gonna be covered. But that's when you need your insurance at that stage, because you're at your old age and you need that protection. So we find that that's a huge challenge that most of our diasporans face, that there were no adequate products designed to cover us in the unfortunate event that you lose someone here or you lose someone back home, or that when you decide to move from one country to the next, you still remain covered. So that has caused a lot of pain, a lot of trauma to most of our people in the diaspora. So that's why people, then they're left with only 2 solutions or 3 solutions, which are not sustainable. One of them is to go on GoFundMe, you create a GoFundMe and you try to fundraise. And we've seen a lot of them across the globe. It doesn't matter which part of the world you live in. You see almost every day there's a GoFundMe appeal. In WhatsApp groups, I was talking to someone in Germany who was telling me that they're in a WhatsApp group, and they almost every month they're contributing 100 euros, 200 euros towards a funeral, and it's becoming unsustainable. So the other solution is to borrow money from the bank to fund that funeral, which is quite painful. It's not something that you want to find yourself in. So what we've done is Diaspora Insurance is to craft a simple solution that works for diasporans, recognizing our unique needs and our unique lifestyles of being migratory, moving from one country to the next in search of the greener pastures, or when you retire, going back to your home country. So we created a product which offers you a lot of flexibility, and that's a cash cover. So what you need at the end of the day is money to fund a funeral, to fund a bereavement, or to fund the repatriation costs, or whatever costs that are associated with the funeral. Whether I think of, say, maybe you've lost your mom or dad, or your brother or sister back home in Kenya or Zimbabwe or South Africa, and you want to fly, you want to buy the ticket on the next plane, what you need is money. So what we do as Diaspora Insurance, we allow a diasporan to insure themselves, the immediate family members, that is your spouse, your children, and not only that, you can also add your family members back home. So that's a very important point there, because you find that even you get insurance, people always say, okay, I got an insurance with my UK company or UK-based insurance company or German-based insurance company. That's good, but it's limited by not allowing you to insure your extended family members. Remember, we're talking about the pressures that we get from back home because people want help from us. They rely on us for their daily bread, the proverbial daily bread, but they also rely on us when it comes to a funeral. When they lose someone, you are the first person to know that someone has passed away, because they know and believe that you got the money. So that burden falls on you. So what we want to do is to give our clients what we call a guaranteed peace of mind. So that guaranteed peace of mind comes not only from making sure that you and your immediate family members are covered, but also your extended family members are included on the same policy. So that will give you that guaranteed peace of mind to know that my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, and my parents, they are protected, they're added on the policy, that if anything happens, the only thing that's going to pay me is losing them, but I don't need to worry about money, about the resources to fund the funeral or even to travel. So that's how the Diaspora Insurance works. So you cover yourself, you get your protection. We cover up to 20,000 euros for people in Europe, and up to 20,000 pounds or US dollars, depending on where you are, or Australian dollars. So it's actually denominated in hard currencies to protect the value. We don't cover people using African currencies, because we know the dangers of inflation that's happening back home. So our policy is hard currency denominated US dollar, euros, British pound, Australian dollars, and Canadian dollars. So you know that you got that peace of mind. So up to 20,000 value for people in the diaspora. Back home, you can cover people up to 5,000 euros or 5,000 pounds. That is per life. So if you've got a family of 4, if you're covered up to 20, you can get 80,000. Everyone covered, total amount of 80,000 for a very small amount of premium. you get your family members a peace of mind, knowing that if anything happens, the money is paid into the account within 4 hours of providing all the necessary documents. That is on paper. Every document is available. We go through the paperwork. The money is there within, and sometimes within 2 hours, 3 hours, the money is in the account, so that you can, if you want to travel, you can travel. If you want to start the process of repatriation, the money is there in your account. The other thing, the good thing about this is that it's a cash cover, so it works even for people who do not want to be taken back home for their final resting place. So someone may argue like, oh yeah, so this product does not work for me because I don't want to be repatriated back home. Remember, we're talking about where do you want to retire. It also tallies in with the question of like, okay, where do you want to be laid to rest if anything happens to you? So people have that discussion as well. It's good to have that discussion with your family, and then something that people don't really think about, but it's important to discuss that with your family to say what's going to happen to you, to your family, if anything happens to you. But for our product, it works. So even if you want to be laid to rest in Europe, it's entirely up to you, because at the end of the day, what you need is money. We've got a lot of our clients who, unfortunately, when they lost their loved ones in Europe or in America or Australia, we paid out cash, then they're laid to rest in their country of where they reside. And if they want to be taken back home, we just pay cash, and then they pay for the services to be taken back home. So it really works wonders for people who are in the diaspora, because that what you need at the end of the day is cash. And cash, one, is very flexible, and cash knows no borders. Another thing is, the good thing about our product is that once you are on the policy, you're covered for life. And it doesn't matter where you can relocate to any part of the world, you remain covered. Go back to Kenya, go back to Zimbabwe or Ghana, you still remain covered on the same policy, or even go and live in any country for that matter. So you remain covered. But if you're talking about your local insurance company, if you take your policy, if you move out of their territory, you will no longer be covered. So you have to start again, start a new policy with a new insurance company, and most likely the premiums will be higher because you're older. But with us, it's gonna be the same. You move to any part of the world, you remain covered. So that's the Diaspora Insurance. So it's got a lot of benefits for people. We've designed it with the diaspora in mind, to make sure that we give our people that peace of mind, and make sure that we have addressed that big challenge that is being faced by people in the diaspora. And the good thing about the product is that we're backed by one of the biggest reinsurance companies in the world, which is called Africa Re. So Africa Re, this is an insurance company that has got 43 of the 53 African nations that back Africa Re as shareholders. So governments of those countries, they are shareholders. We've got big insurance companies like Alliance, Munich, some of the biggest insurance companies in the world. They own Africa Re. So when we pay out, it's not money coming from me. It's not money coming from Diaspora Insurance. It's money coming from that reinsurer to pay your claim. So we're not going to run out of money. It's not like an association where we say, okay, multiple claims are coming through. Maybe there's not enough money in the account. The money is there. We're also registered and authorized by the Financial Conduct Authority here in the United Kingdom. As you know, United Kingdom is one of the biggest financial markets in the world. So for us to be registered and to be licensed in the United Kingdom speaks volumes about the quality of care, quality of work that we do, about the standards that we meet. So for us to be given that license, we have to meet certain standards. So it means that when we're providing our services, there's a certain level of standard that we need to meet. So that should give our clients that assurance that they're dealing with a company that is committed to provide value for money in terms of the products that they provide, and also that their customers are treated fairly. So when you come to us, you know you're being treated fairly, and also you're getting value for money. For value for money is what you pay is equivalent to, or you actually get more than what you pay is in terms of a premium. So and as a company as well, we've been operating for more than 12 years now, which speaks volumes in terms of our excellent work. across the different communities that we operate in. So yeah, we're really proud of what we do and very passionate about what we do.
Wow, I mean, it's amazing the way you're saying everything, and for me, I have to say, I was very looks like we have been kicked out a bit, but I think we're back.
Yeah, maybe I think it's my network is a bit unstable. Maybe
we had a hiccup there. So for me, it's because I like the idea that I was really hooked up for, because as you say, the WhatsApp group, they come and they, in the morning you find your group and you're contributing money for people you don't even know, but it's like you feel like you're obliged to contribute for anybody who is dead. That is like a fact that it comes along when you're put in a WhatsApp group. You have no idea who that is, because for even us in our own culture, African, we don't contribute for, we don't know, at least your neighbor from your home area.
There is fatigue. People are fatigued. They're tired of this. They're just tired. People are just tired. It's not sustainable.
It comes even aggressive, that you have to do something, you have to. And now when you came up with this package, I was like, hallelujah, no more WhatsApp group. Organize yourself. You have a good life, you're enjoying yourself, packaging yourself. Also plan for that, because honestly, it's like having a friend and throwing the baggage on you and you're gone, you know.
Yes.
And yet you are in the same table telling them, get the diaspora insurance, get the diaspora. They're not. So my friend, if you are my friend there and you have been our member, please get yourself organized early. Get yourself there. It's a cash cover, as they said. And especially what I like about it, the cash cover, that you can plan yourself in advance, meaning you can decide how you want your funeral to look like. Really, like, prepare your big event. Yeah, you want to take. They even have, like, if you want to be taken with a horse, with a carrier, and all that. You plan. You plan how you want it, and
correct. Yeah.
Have an event organizer, because they don't do that part. You still have to get the event for them. They'll give you the cash and get the work done on your side. So what you do with your money is up to you to decide. So it's very important that, and I like the idea that this is a cash cover, especially when somebody dies, and especially in Europe, before you decide what is going on, it's money that comes in 24 hours. So, and this is something that is very interesting, because sometimes some of us have this. I don't know about Zimbabwe, if you have it, but I think you do even have extra than others. There's this celebration, or for us, we call them ombolezi, people coming to your house, they want to eat, they want to, there's these ceremonies, I don't know what.
Yes, we will do the same thing. They come there, they want to be fed, they want to, Ghanaians are actually worse, because their funerals can last for like a month. It's very expensive.
It depends on the culture, so it's very expensive, and if you don't plan yourself, this come at a shock for your family, not even your friend, your family. You put them under very, very tight situation where they would have used that money for something else, and here you are, you can prepare it. And what I like it, once you pay, and we wait for the big day. I call it a big day. It's not a sad day, it's a big day, celebrating your life. So there's an end to it. It's not some of the insurance you keep paying forever, but once you finish your sum, then when it's time for using it, then it will be there for you. So, and we have heard stories, right? You can share with us some incidents that some people who really gained from this, and they were happy that they. And there was that story from Austria, right, where
Yes.
son died. Can you tell us about that story?
That's so there's a lady. There's a video she did a testimonial, which we I think we circulated on our YouTube channel. So she came across our product on social media, inquired about us, and then she got a quotation, decided to cover herself and their son in Austria. So she's actually a well-to-do woman, but she was planning ahead with a good job, working for the United Nations in Austria. But because she's savvy and she knows the importance about insurance, so she covered herself and the son. So everything was okay. But unfortunately, then the son got unwell along the way. Then she took the son to the hospital because he continued being unwell. They did some tests, and unfortunately, it turned out that he had cancer of the stomach, and then underwent a lot of treatment and so forth. But then she continued paying for a policy, and then unfortunately, he passed away. I think it was in August this year. Then she contacted our office. We helped her to complete the paperwork, which was quite straightforward. And she initially, when she said she submitted the documents, she thought, well, we're not going to pay, because I don't know. She just thought maybe because they might say, well, he was already sick or something like that, or that the application was going to be turned down. But we went through the process, looked at the paperwork, and we just asked for bank details, and then we transferred it immediately. I think it was covered for 15,000 euros. So they are from Kenya, and they managed to repatriate his body back home to Kenya. But while they were still in Austria, our team traveled to Austria to pass their condolences. My colleague Jeff and Jane Kale from Germany, who's also from Kenya, traveled there to pay our condolences and support the family. Because it's Diaspora Insurance, our clients, we actually consider them as part of our family. So when they walk through dark periods like that, we walk with them, we support them in not just by making the payout, but also supporting them emotionally, and providing them with the guidance that they need when they need help with paperwork for repatriation and so forth. We also guide them. So we traveled there, supported the family, and then they managed to repatriate their loved son back to Kenya for final resting place. And again, one of our team members traveled to Kenya to attend the funeral and be with the family. So it was very touching, and the family were really pleased, one, with the services that we provided, and also that the support that we gave them during that period. Because losing your son is quite painful and I think it was the only son, and it was also traumatic for the woman, for the lady. So we really had to support her during that dark period. But all went well, thanks to Diaspora Insurance and the team. So yeah, we're really proud of what we did, supporting the family and helping them through that dark period.
Thank you for sharing that, because it's such a personal thing, and she's happy to share it to help another person. So I hope this story is making you think twice. And something else I wanted to also mention, Sibert, and I also want to throw in, I've already shared this diasporainsurance.com/Awe. I also put it in the chat. All of you can follow it up. It's on the chat and as a link. You can click it, have a look at it, and you can make an appointment, because it's an appointment form where you get somebody who will come and talk to you and find the best time of the day to discuss with you. And from there, you take up the policy where they will come, they will walk you through, and you have a lot of variation as you had according to your pocket, right?
Yeah.
Something for everyone, trust me. And those people who have parents like me back at home or older generation, and you want to be taken, you don't emergency phone calls, we know we have to always be prepared. This is also an opportunity to do that, because so long as you're diaspora, you can be able to also cover your family at home, back at home, your elderly parents. But there is this cover as well that I really liked, and we have a lot of groups like you mentioned, the groups we have groups like how do we call them? We call them in Kenya, I think in other groups the name is disappearing, but you mentioned it before. The groups that we also have small groups like chambers. Sorry?
Is associations or?
Yeah, there's association, but we also have another name we call them in Kenya, where they also deal with the funeral situations or emergency situation. It's not off my head right now, but you listeners, which one I'm talking about. And these groups, welfare groups, exactly. the welfare groups. There's a lot of welfare groups, and welfare groups, this is something for you, the group funeral cash cover. Group funeral is actually, after I realized I should have done it in my own group of AWE for all the women, because it's even much cheaper. Much cheaper and affordable and easier to manage when you're a group, because I know how some of them work, the welfare. We notice some of them, Sibert is local, they have grouped themselves, and according to who dies when, one group pays, not everyone pays one group pays. There's a way they have formulated themselves. But this group cash cover, you can tell us a little bit. Yes, Tante, thank you for mentioning that. We call them a welfare and chamas, exactly. So these are the ones that I want to encourage them to reach out to you, reach out to me if you have, and I'm gonna share emails there, and also Sibert, if you have any contacts that we can direct each other, put them in my private chat that I share with them, because they will come to you, they can come to your group, discuss with you, and come up with a package that is good for you. And it will help you, all of you. And I tell you, it's much cheaper than what you do it on your own. That's why the strength of it.
So maybe, so these group schemes, they work for people who are already constituted as a group, that up to 50 and above. So we're looking at least 50 and above members who constitute, who got a constitution, they got a bank account, they've been making contributions into the bank account, and they got a register of their members. So they can come in and get a package for their group. And then they can pay one premium for the group, and then if the claim comes through, we can pay either directly to the group, that the group can pay to the beneficiaries. And then the other advantages are, if the group is large enough, then there's always some rebates to the group. That's part of the premium that we pay. We can always pay back some of the money back to the group, because as a group, we know that you've got some activities that you run. Maybe you've got an AGM that you want to do, with other meetings that you want to plan in between, some other activities that you want to do. So we can always contribute towards those activities through the rebates that we can structure. If the group are very large, then we can actually appoint some advisors within those groups to be distributing and selling the product, and then they can earn a commission. So over and above benefiting the members by providing them with a guaranteed peace of mind through the product, we also create opportunities for earning extra income for the group and for themselves. So within those groups, maybe there are people with circle groups that are maybe 100, 200, 300 people. They can come. We can design a product for that circle group or for that association. Then they can start distributing the product within that association or that group. We train them, and then they can start onboarding them.
I see there you already have the first client. I don't know whether you've booked an away or is it still to come. We have one. We meet once in a year. Our meeting will be next year, May. Tante Africa Talk Show, we are following you up to make sure that this meeting happen. We usually contribute when a member had lost a relative, so no account, but soon we want to have a constitution for the group. Yes, please go ahead, have that discussion already ready now with the group, because if it's a contribution for members, this is a good way to do it. Tante, I'll give you the discussion as we are as we are going on, and I have your number anyway. You reach out to me and I connect you with the group so that you have the right people, so that they can come talk to your team. We had them also, if you're circle like us, we have an AWE circle. We'll be introducing them as well to the circle as well. And that's something else you all know about it. You can come and join us, your investments, and we also take care of our health as well. So you're also included to join, and I'll mention that later on. And thank you for throwing that. So chamas, they are small. Some of them are not registered. They have to be re-registered, because some of them we have here in Europe, they're not yet registered. But is that but they do contribute money regularly. Is that something that you would consider?
Sorry?
You only deal with only registered. We have chamas. These are small groups.
So the thing is the numbers. So the first thing is the number. We need at least more than 50 members.
Okay.
And if they're registered, then that's good. If they're registered, then that's good. Then it's not a showstopper. If they've got a bank account, one bank account, which is good as well, because we know it's easier to collect money from that one bank account. We're going to be doing it as a group policy. But we can also design a scheme which is not a group policy, where we have a scheme for that group which doesn't meet the criteria of being a group. So within a scheme, members can join through that scheme. Say we got Awe, and then we say, okay, members, we got a product for Awe. Then we now start onboarding people within the Awe group, but they'll be like, they still get the discounted rates and the benefits of the group, but they won't be paying one premium. Each member will be paying their own premium, but still enjoying the benefits of the group cover.
Okay, that's also good for us.
Yes. Yeah.
For the Awe as general, apart from the SACCO, so that's because we are also registered and we are functioning. So that's something we'll be following up. Meanwhile, check on the website www.diasporainsurance.com/AWE to follow up and also get your appointment to discuss. And if you want the group funeral cash cover, you can always reach us to us directly, or Sibert and all their agents. They're able to bring you to that area where you can, but reach out to me because I'll be easier to follow up with that, because I know the confirmation where it comes from, so that it's easier to connect. I know we have gone beyond, but kindly, I forgot to ask people, if you have any question, please start putting it in the comment, in the chat, any question. And I want to acknowledge all of you, Tante. Thank you for being here as well. Leah said great information. Thank you for being here. Just keep throwing your question there if you have any, as I check if there was any question anywhere. In case I missed any, I think we need more on board. There's a comment here. I think we need more men on board. Yes, for sure, we need more men on board. Sibert, we have a lot of work to do, but I know where they are hiding. Trust me, I'm going to show you. If you're all listening, I'm coming for you. You know where you are hiding. They have an area where they work together, and they're quite also doing well in their area of expertise. And thank you so much. Okay, that one was to do with it. I can see Bernard. Bernard is also part of the Diaspora Insurance. Brilliant decision. Thank you for joining us and sharing. And I can see you have plans from the US. We are coming there as well. Sibert, are we already in US, or we are already coming there?
We are everywhere. We are everywhere. They need to get in touch with us, get the policy. We've got team members as well in US, but they can get in touch, fill in that form. We support them. We get them. We can onboard them on the product. So yes, we are everywhere. Diaspora Insurance is everywhere. As long as you're diaspora anywhere in the world, we cover you.
So these include even the diaspora who live in Africa, just to make sure that we are connected here. It's not to do with Europe or the West. Also, those Kenya going to Uganda, you're already a diaspora.
You are a diaspora because you still have the same problems as someone who's in Europe. Though the challenge may be less because it's closer to home, but the same challenges are the same.
Yeah. So this is quite helpful for all of us. I think we've covered most of the important information, and you have shared with us already great moments where people got success from insurance. We've learned a lot today. Today it was about health, and maybe I'll just leave one more word, a comment or encouragement. Why should we really take a funeral cash cover, either a group or why? Because of the situation where I'm thinking of right now, is that some people here are still not yet, as you know, death is something that people don't like talking about. But why should we really consider this? And as a diaspora, especially in the Western world,
I think it's all down to caring about people who are close to you, because you don't want to leave things to chance, because that's what people tend to do. They leave things to chance. But if you really care and love the people that are close to you, let's say in the unfortunate event that I'm not there, what's going to happen to my family? How are they going to fund that my funeral? So those are things that you start to ask yourself about and say what's going to happen. So it's all about caring and putting things in place. And as diasporans, I think we need to now start living as people who are in the first world. So back home, we used to take we used to rely on the community. We used to rely on changos, the harambes, people contributing and so forth. But here in the diaspora, it's now a different setup. It's now a different culture. We can't continue doing what we used to do when we were back home. We need to take products that are provided by certified insurance companies, protect ourselves, protect our loved ones. If anything happens, it's the pain is now about you've lost someone. It should not be the worry about, okay, how am I going to fund this? Where am I going to get the money? So once you take the policy, you know that it's not taken care of. Like what the lady you're talking about, Margaret Jensen from Austria. Her pain was like, okay, I've lost my son, but in terms of the cash and the money, it was there in her account. She knew that she was covered. We got another lady who lost. I think she's in France. Lost a mom in Kenya. We also paid out money, and she traveled to Kenya to lay her mom to rest. So you can see how it's important to get that policy. So this is why we're encouraging our people. Let's take the policies to make sure that our loved ones are protected. That if anything happens to them, there's no that pain, that trauma, that it's so undignifying. We've worked so hard. We're talking about people building mansions and so forth in the diaspora, but when it comes to your end of life, then they'll be like, oh yeah, that person who built those mansions and so forth, he died and he's stuck in Germany. They can't bring him back home. They'll be like, so we thought he had money. We thought he was so organized. So you see how your final chapter is now being tarnished by not just taking that spare or putting aside that maybe 20 euros, 30 euros to buy that insurance. So it's all about planning, putting things in place, making sure that your loved ones are protected, that making sure that your legacy and your story is said in a better way. You leave a legacy for your children. You leave a good legacy for yourself, and you got a good story to say, okay, he lived, he worked, and then he passed away. When he passed away, there was no stress. He was so organized, or she was so organized. She was covered with the insurance, and then people celebrated their life. It's all about celebrating your life. It's not like a funeral where people are crying and this is a celebration of life. If you go to Diaspora Insurance, you're celebrating your life if you pass away, because people are not. A funeral is where people are actually struggling because there's no money and there's pain, there's trauma, So yeah, that's what I can say for now. Why people should take this policy.
Thank you, and I will take away with me that I don't want to be remembered by contribution of money. I have
so organized and running around and doing organizing these powerful meetings and platforms. It'll be a shame to see you on the GoFundMe.
ourselves, so we are all good. We are already cash covered. So guys, come and have a big party. That's the whole idea, to celebrate life, to remember you with a good a legacy of the things that you really did, and not the last part. So this is what we are talking about today. I hope you got the message about the funeral cash cover. Please get yourself I can see more people coming a little bit later, but don't worry. We have all recorded. It's all on YouTube and as well on Facebook groups. So very insightful. Thank you so much. I can see a lot of people were here as well. Kadogo and I see Sally. Great to be part of the Diaspora Insurance. These are all champions of Kadogo. They're from Holland. I love our women when they start working with you. They are fully engaged. And I can see here a message for Tante. We usually contribute when a member had lost a relative, so no account, but soon we want to have a constitution for the group. go for it, young, and that's the way to go. Let's get organized. Let's get prepared as a group or not as an individual, for our family members, for our parents back at home. This is something you can organize yourself very early. So thank you so much for your time, Sibert. We really
Thank you
appreciate.
so much, Joy.
And it's always an honor to have you here. I'll be having you back again. I keep mentioning this every time we have a show here, informing our works to inform members, but the work lies on to you. You
Good.
people listening there. It's your time to take action. And thank you so much. So as I go on, I wish you a good evening and hope to see you again, probably in Kenya. If I understand, you'll also have a stand in Kenya. If you're traveling to Kenya, there will be a lot going on in Kenya. So I think you're taking part. And I like the way you take part also in the communities. This is something very exciting about that you're only not thinking us here in Europe supporting our events, also going on the ground and really supporting our own countries. And I see you in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, all these countries, and in the events that you all go. So keep watching them. They go to a lot of events in person. So I don't know if you're having one in December. Do you know?
Yes, we have. We will be in Germany, I think in Mainz, and another event as well, AG Hub Careers as well. And then in, I think, 7th, 8th, and 9th, our team will be in Nairobi attending the Diaspora Investment Convention. I think people have seen the adverts through the PS Diaspora Affairs. So our team will be there in Nairobi as well, meeting and mingling with diasporans from across the globe in Nairobi. So it's going to be an exciting opportunity to meet some of you or all of you there in Nairobi as well.
Great. And summer is coming. We'll meet you again in the AWE events that are coming. As all of you, I'll be keeping you updated. And thank you so much for that. And I'll be sharing all the packages and all information on your WhatsApp group, Facebook as well. We always share with you every week. And reach out to us. The only way to get yourself protected is when you have that call and you make that call through going to the diasporainsurance.com through AWE, and from there you make your arrangement, and they'll be right there with you to create a cover for you. But as I said, you can also work as a group. So thank you so much, and have a lovely day, Dr. Sibert. But I'll continue here mentioning people what is coming up with the hour. We are not yet done. We have a lot coming up. So I'm looking forward to really engaging with you much as every other year. I've already promised you that we'll put my effort to be here as much as I'm traveling around supporting other projects that Africa Women in Europe are engaged in. As you know, we have Africa Women in Trade. I just came back from Egypt supporting women in businesses there in Africa. That's something that I love doing, and we are also going to work together with AWE how to support the continent as a diaspora. And we are looking forward. Also, we're going to be part of the 6th region as diasporans. You're part of 6th region. We really need to know what that means, and we're going to be really engaging, bringing you discussion that deals with the Africa that can also be part of it. And also something else that's very important for you to know, we'll be meeting as well in next year. I'll be sharing with you all those events that we'll be having. We'll be going to Switzerland, and all this information is prepared by the country representative of these countries. So Switzerland, you'll be having Giles is preparing you something very interesting in Switzerland. Check out on that, working together with Helen. And we also have Kadogo, who's also there listening to us right now. She's preparing something for you for next year. We'll be sharing with you the month before the end of this month, the next month, mid of next month, all the time and the activity that they'll be doing, if not only the month. And UK is also ready for you. Maggie Muller together with Milka, they're arranging an event in UK. These will be more in all sorts of discussion because they want to be more closer to you. It could be action activity, it could be an excursion, who know, even a wellness. So Sibert and all my men, you're welcome to do the wellness with the women as well, and climbing mountains. The last time we did one in Switzerland for going for the chocolate factory, something different, and to make more connections with the women. And of course, Elizabeth together with Hilda, they're also organizing in Germany as well. They have already set their month. So all these events will be going around through the year. We also have our team in Belgium, which are working very closely together with Regina, together with our partners in the ground. They'll be preparing as well in Belgium. Remember, Belgium, Brussels, I was the last one. Now they'll be preparing one for within the country. Could be dinner, could be. We want it to be more closer to you when we're having country events, more interactive, where we can have real talk about, do you have the cash cover? Can you take it today? These are the topic, or how is your health? Or how can we do business the next level? These are the discussion we'll be having in this country, and as well as also on the continent. Because another thing that is going on as well, we are partnered as well with the Naivera is in Kenya. They are selling great apartments for affordable, for those people who want to do investments in terms of properties, investing far away from home. What I like about them, they have an app that help you to manage your apartment right from here. You see the rental and everything else going on. And this package here is very affordable, 1.6 million going, and one apartment, one bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and as well as studio. They are ready for you, and they have been going around Europe during this season, last 2 months. They'll be coming to us, talk to us as well. One of our partners as well is also looking for doctors and nurses required in Germany. They have to speak they are required to have German language, if I remember right, and they also need to be able to come to work as nurses, as doctors. So you can reach out to us and we can pass on information to them. So these are a few things that are going on with the Awe and the women. And if you have an activity and you want us to share, always send it to me before the end of the month, so that we can also share here with our members what activities are doing. And something very important, we are all looking for members to join us in Awe Diaspora Circle, which is a very strong organization that is moving very fast. And as you heard, we're going to be also including the Diaspora Insurance in the future, and also covering our members as well. And I have to say that we welcome men and women, not only women. So this is and also in Europe, we are not limiting. Also now anywhere globally, anybody can come and join us. We are welcoming you to be part of us. So feel free to join us. And last but not least, yes, Joy is also part of the Diaspora Insurance, and I'm one of the ambassador, and I'm happy to follow you and give you more information. If you ever need, just reach out to me and I'll be able to contact you. So thank you so much, and I'll leave it up to there. And for those people who don't know us, I'll be playing a video about who we are and what we do and all our activities, and then we can link up to us to join us. It's simple, www.africawomenineurope.eu, and our website is very, very vibrant with all the projects we do. You can follow up there, you can join them, and you can also register at Awe Academy that has been working together. We have been following up together for some time. We also have the project of Africa Women in Trade. That is also that organization that I mentioned earlier, where we went to Egypt. And to email us is info@africawomenineurope.eu. So I'm looking forward to hear from you all, and let's connect next month again with another guest. And be ready this time, be ready to prepare your money. We will be investing for Christmas. Let's do it the right way, right? Let's think about ourselves first as well, health first, and now let's go to investments next month. So thank you so much, and I wish you a lovely evening, and see you again in few more weeks from now. Before then, I wish you a happy Christmas. You're traveling to Kenya, you're traveling for holidays, safe journey, and we wish you a lovely time with your family. And yes, family come first and your health. Good night, and see you again next month.
Here's a funeral cash plan that guarantees you free coverage in the future. Throughout your career, you have made contributions to a funeral plan. Eventually, you retire and cannot afford the premiums, and your policy expires. Are you heading in that direction? Let Diaspora Insurance take care of you. When you take out a Diaspora funeral cash plan, you'll never have to worry about this again. Your future coverage is guaranteed. You can get a free quick quote right now and start the journey to free coverage in the future when you cannot afford your premiums. Your peace of mind is only a WhatsApp message away. +44 770 3838 304 or +27 659 070 419. Get in touch now. 24/7 quote and apply at diasporainsurance.com. Terms and conditions apply.